What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Perth Pro Players team member Jimmy here on the left playing Red Jiren, and we have Perth Pro Players team member Jason Stubbs here on the right playing Starter Vegeta. Now this is one of the older games. I've had an archive just sitting there. Haven't had a chance to commentate it, but it's such a good game, I guess, matchup. Two red decks going at it. Jiren is really cool and Starter Vegeta is really cool. Something we don't see that often. So I thought, why not? Let's pull it out. Let's play it. Hope you guys do enjoy it. Before they get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Team Card Titan. If you guys want any DBS Steel products or DBS singles, make sure you check out that link in the description below. And for all the people in Australia and New Zealand, check out their auction page on Facebook as well. Now, Jiren, not something we've had on the channel a hell of a lot, but it is an awesome deck. It does some really, really cool things. I've seen it popping up a little bit more recently as well. This is back when it was kind of first released. We're just trying to figure everything out. This is possibly before any emergency bans on Belmod and Tau and everything happen as well. So there is a potential that there is Belmods and Taus in this, which is very strong. And that was, I guess, Jimmy's initial deck list as well. And it was incredible. But we are going to go for the top whiff on that top, which sucks. It's always horrible when that happens. You really want to be getting your pieces as much as possible. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, you can't run a million of that card. But we are going to hit the Topo Unison just here. Just the one. And then we go for our plus, being able to play a one cost at the end of turn. Hopefully hitting a one cost from hand. Fingers crossed. Sadly, no one cost, so there's nothing there to play out, which sucks. So that we're not going to be able to get our markers going into the opponent's turn with the Spirit Boost and then plussing. And then, yes, so we are passing over. Stubbs getting the Unison turn 2, which is perfect. It's the ideal thing. This Unison as well is probably the ideal Unison for the deck, I would say, especially the way that Stubbs is running it. And this is, I think, probably one of the first times he actually played the deck, so he is able to awaken, take down to 5 life, untap 2 energy, right? So he gets that thing for free. And that Unison for free, it's very, very valuable for that Unison. That Unison is absolutely incredible. I love it. And it's just going to have a lot of effects going on. So if Jimmy does negate, he can potentially clear some of his boys off the board, right? So we're going to swing in here. Probably dealing with the Unison early on, I would say. That's probably the best thing. We are going to plus first, though, on the Unison drawing card. We are swinging into life, so we're going to put some pressure in. And I guess they are 2 aggro decks going at it as well. And because, we have lost, unfortunately, on our first swing, because we have lost that, we haven't really got access to it. Now, I believe what happened there was we gave it the double strike, right? So we gave the Unison the double strike with that leader effect, swinging in a double strike just here, and then we're going to play the Farsha out, and we're going to grab ourselves a chain attack Bardock just here. Now, probably not the best idea against Jiren to play the chain attack out this turn. I think what we want to do is we want to be able to get it and swing in with it, because otherwise it's probably just going to die. But establishing a second Farsha, not too bad, right? We can keep that. So hopefully getting something. We are hitting another chain attack. Perfect. So potentially 2 chain attacks going on this next turn as well. And that is not ideal for Jimmy here. So unless he gets another Unison, he's probably not going to be able to get the Evolve going during the opponent's turn, which kind of sucks. So we are going to go leader effect, taking life, checking the top. Now, hopefully we find one this turn. I really, really hope we find one this turn. We have found one this turn, so we found the Hipster Jiren, which is great. And that's the, I guess, ideal one. You do just want to hit the Hipster Jiren all the time, so you can just start digging into the deck further and further and further and finding your things. But the other Jiren, the little corn dog Jiren, he's always good as well, because you want him to get in the drop area so you can start using his effects. But it looks like we're whiffing again. Which sucks. So we've whiffed twice in this matchup. So once off the leader and then once off this card too. It doesn't happen a hell of a lot, but unfortunately there's sometimes, RNGesus is just not on your side, right? It does happen sometimes, unfortunately. It does suck, but we are able to establish a second Unison, which is really nice. Really hoping we have a 1-drop in hand this time, right? So we can play it up, but at least we can get our Evolves going in the opponent's turn if we wish. or we evolve now. So it looks like we're going to play 1, get Corn Dog Jiren on the board, drawing a card. Hopefully we have another 1 cost, but it looks like we're just going to go straight for the 4. All right, that's fair enough. So we're going to go for the 4 cost, placing that in the drop area, drawing a card, plusing an extra marker on the Unison 2, which is great. So going up to 3 already. And then that we have access potentially to go for another evolve on the Hipster Jiren there. So I really do hope we have another 4 cost on board. My apologies for the glare on this occasion, guys. Obviously, where we set the camera up wasn't the ideal location, but it is the 4 cost Jiren, and we got the topo. Unfortunately, it is shining a hell of a lot off those sleeves, and my apologies for that. But I hope you can still see the cards enough and enjoy it. So we are going to get off, at the end of turn, off the topo. We're going to play another Hipster Jiren, which is great. Whiffing again, so 3 whiffs in this game. So the luck is not on Jimmy's side, unfortunately, this game. He's really whiffing off these, and that's, unfortunately, that's what I found sometimes playing this deck. Like, the deck is really fun, and when it does its thing, it does it really, really well, and can pretty much just floor the opponent because it's absolutely so strong. But when you start whiffing and your hand starts going down, it is really hard to come back from, especially against a deck like King Vegeta, which is going to be very aggressive back towards Jiren and also be able to get a hell of a lot of cards in their own hand, right? So it's very, very annoying, unfortunately. So we are going to, it looks like, clear these bad boys off the board by using the Rejuvenate skill. Or sorry, just the -2. Not going through for the Rejuvenate. It gains Rejuvenate, so he can potentially go for the full -4, but he's just going the -2, choosing and then KOing those boys, which is quite nice for him. Swinging in to leader here, I would say. Or Unison, potentially, if he wishes. But we are going to go a testing opposition. Taking a life to gain a blocker. So potentially protecting the Unison. So what we're going to do here, more than likely, is we just KO this 10k. Because we are counter. Get the token, and then we just KO it with the Piccolo effect. Nope. Okay, so we're just going to KO the Jiren instead. Which is fair enough, to be honest. I think that's definitely worth it because now we've just stopped that whole chain once again. And Jimmy has whiffed a few times on this chain, so it's quite horrible. And we can, as we can see, just be able to minus if we wish here on this guy. But more than likely, looks like we're just going to play out the Yamcha counterplay. Potentially wants to do it on the play of that rather than on the evolve. Rush in a little bit quick. But yeah, so we're just going to hit. That's completely fine. More than likely, we just establish another Chain Attack Bardock here on the board. So that way, and then we just play another boy out off the swing of the other Bardock, right? Sorry, and because we counted, we can now pop the blocker with the Piccolo, or we can pop the Yamcha, right? Because it's a counter. So that Unison is just so strong, right? Just being able to do that. You do just have to keep track of that, I guess, as much as possible, right? It is an easy thing to forget because it's just a lingering effect. But the more you play the cards, the more you do remember. And we do get people who sometimes, and then like it happens. And look, I'm guilty of it too sometimes. When you haven't played it in a long time, you just forget how often you can actually use that effect. It's not a once per turn. It's just any time a counter is used. Doesn't matter whose turn it is. You're popping something that's 15k, right? Or less. So it's really strong to just remember it's hanging around. Now, Jimmy's going up to 3 energy. Usually, right, you should have like 1 or 2 chains established fully by now. So that way what you do is you go for your Great Awaken and you go straight into the big boy and you start pumping your leader as well. So you want to get your evolves, pump your leader twice. So hopefully you go into the 5 and then you go into the big boy. Pump your leader, swing in the big boy, take the life, pump the leader again, swing in with a big boy or the leader and like just go in that way. And then you're like Vegeta and things like that to be able to restand the leader. Absolutely phenomenal. Jimmy is deciding to go aggressive with life though and taking this life to check. Hopefully, and I really hope we hit something. Hit a Kunchi, not ideal. Not the best choice here, unfortunately. You always want to hit those Jiren so you can just start establishing some chains, right? But it is what it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So you just take it. I believe it draws 1 card on play as well. So it's not the end of the world. It does replace itself. So we did get, I guess, technically a +3. We are going to hit the Jiren here, though, which is good. So we do get to play out Corn Dog and Hipster. So probably what I would do here, because you don't have to choose different names, you just go the 2 hipster Jirens, and then what you do is you use the Corn Dog Jiren's effect, so you can start searching through the deck to go and find any pieces that you need. So if you are missing a chunk, either a 4 or 5, you just go and grab them, and you can just establish them. Quite nice. So we have got the EX Evolve here. So it looks like we're going to go straight into a 5. So very sad. Now, do we have access to a Yamcha counterplay? Doesn't look like it, sadly. So we are going to go for our plus. On the Unisons we get to play at the end of turn, we're going to go for our Evolve. Drawing a card. So the only way that Jiren's hanging around now is if we take a life, because we don't have 2 cards under it, unfortunately. So it makes it a little bit more vulnerable, I guess, now that it doesn't have the 2 cards underneath. But still a very strong card, the dual attack, and the fact that you can just take a life and protect it. But more than likely, yeah, we're just going to hit the big boy here. We're going to go ham, and we're going to minus the Bardock on play, which, again, that Bardock is very important. As we've seen in other matches as well, how important that Bardock is for the deck, especially because you just want to be able to spam these 1-drops. But getting a big boy Jiren out onto the board. Now, the question here is, right, potentially you just clear or attempt to clear the Unison, right? So there's that potentially, you just attempt to clear the Unison. On the play as well, we're also getting plus 5k on the leader for an EX Evolve, right? So we are getting that plus 5, which Jimmy is showing there. So potentially you clear the Unison, because that Unison, again, is just getting so much value. More than likely, though, here, I can see a Violent Raise in hand, which is exactly what Stubbs is going to throw down. So we're going to Violent Raise. We'll probably just discard potentially that Goku. But it looks like we're going to go for the Chain Attack instead. Interesting choice, because that card's so strong. And I thought he had another Evolve target. Maybe I was completely wrong. It doesn't look like he does. So we can still use the effect to restand and plus 5k on the leader. But we do, I think we do aim for this Unison just here. I think you just start hitting that bad boy. So there we go. Yep, there's Tau. So as I said, this was before the ban actually happened. This is a very old game. As I said, this is kind of a bit of a throwback game for us. Something that's been sitting there for a while. I just haven't had a chance to commentate. And I thought, why not? I've got some time. So we're going to swing in with a crit. Do we miss Tower? Probably not. I think it's probably good that it's not in the format. I think it was pretty ridiculous. Obviously, when you played it, it felt great. But look, it is what it is. They tried to slow down the game in favor of, I guess, more things being able to shine, which I respect that, right? Rather than just aggro being able to shine, because I feel like it did have a little bit of a reign. I am always sad about like the King Vegeta erratas and things like that too, because that was always a fun deck to play, but I completely understand why it happened, right? The fact that it was just dominating the whole meta. It could take many shapes, many forms, which is not fun. It's like SS3 was back in the day. It's like you could play things, but SS3 was just better with it anyway. So you just play that leader and then just play what you wanted. King Vegeta kind of had a few different forms of it, but really, really fun deck when you were playing it. Probably not so fun to play against. But look, I understand. You got to errata it and go for what you need to, right? And be able to make sure the game, and I feel like the game is in a very healthy state at the moment, which I like and makes me very happy, because I feel like people are having a little bit more fun. And the top 4 decks are still obviously reigning that supreme and in a very comfortable position. So I'm really interested to see how the new meta kind of shapes up and if they can shake that top 4 and if they change quite a bit. So anyway, we're swinging in with this King Vegeta. We're going to go for a Raditz super combo, bottom decking the Kaioken. Surprising to bottom deck the Kaioken just because we could clear pretty much the whole board. No, we can't. Sorry, my apologies. Because it doesn't ignore barrier on the 20k, we would not be able to hit the Jirens just there, unfortunately. So we could clear everything else except the Jirens, which I guess that's probably something you want to do is just clear them. Now, Jimmy could go for his power, but his spirit boost on the attacks as well, but he probably wants to hold out until there's a card on the board that he can minus potentially, right? So, yeah, sorry, no. So we're at 5 life still. Not checking that. So Stubbs just realizing he's at 5 life. Kaioken we do not have in hand, and that's going to be very hard to search out, so that kind of sucks. Look, mistakes happen. That's all right. I'm thinking it's, yeah, it should be still on the bottom. So we just flip that back out and add that to hand. So very unfortunate there. We just picked up 2. Probably should go for a shuffle here, but that's all right. It's not the end of the world. It's just locals. We're having fun. Things happen like that, unfortunately. You do forget sometimes. You get in the heat of the moment. So Jimmy's got a hell of a board, though. So it looked like it was in favor of Stubbs at the start with starter Vegeta. Like, he seemed like he was in a very good situation. But I feel like it's changed around quite a bit now, right? So we're going to hit the 2 of those bad boys. And then we also hit the Kunchi as well. And then these 2, unfortunately, stay on the board because they both had barrier when the card was played. So, but at least you kind of cleared a bit of that board off. Jiren's still very scary, though. I think what we do is probably swing into, potentially into the corn dog, but he can easily evolve minus it by 10, right? So this is the scary part. So if you swing into this, he could potentially hit the 4 cost, but I believe we've got 2 4 costs in energy and we've got a 4 cost in drop. So more than likely we're not going to see another one, unfortunately. But there we go. So we are just going to clear it off the board. What I would do here if I was Jimmy, right, depending on what we've got in hand, you probably use the effect of Corn Dog Jiren and you bottom deck it. You go and find another piece, so another 4 cost if you can, and try to just establish a whole nother chain. And having 2 of those chains plussing on the leader every time we evolve, plussing on the unison every time we evolve as well. A very, very powerful effect, and we can put a hell of a lot of pressure. But as we can see, Stubbs does have Violent Rays in hand once again. Sadly, his hand's very low. So what I would probably say is you establish... So yeah, he's just going for the 5 cost. Again, we don't know what's in his hand, so he may just need what's in hand. But I would definitely go probably for the Condog Jiren's effect, go search out what I need. So probably grabbing the 4 cost, minusing 10, plussing marker, and then going for the 5, right? Because then what we've got is 2 cards underneath that 5 cost, so it gives it protection. Plus, we've plus twice on the leader swing as well, so we're really putting some pressure through. So this is the thing, right? Jimmy needed to swing with probably the big Jiren first in fear of Violent Rays, right? Stubbs is willingly taking this damage, right? So he knows that he can comfortably take this damage, but this is definitely going to get Rays. So we swing Rays. And then we just pitch 1 card in hand, which we're going to go for the unison. So pitching the unison. So yes, if you're versing red, right, and there's that potential they have Rays, you have a big boy on board and something that's under 20k, always swing the thing that's 20k or over first, forcing the Rays out of hand, and then going for the cards underneath it so you can put some damage through. Now, Jimmy has a chance again to restand. I don't think he'll go for it though. I don't think it's really worth it. I think what he's going to do is just put some pressure in with this leader, either into the battle cards or yeah, just start swinging into leader to force some cards from hand. I think clearing board is a good choice because Stubbs doesn't have many cards in hand, unfortunately. And then he's got another swing with Jiren, but probably not worth it at this point. I think you just hold it standing up. Hopefully having a 1-drop to end this turn so he can play it off topo. And then he can just kind of establish a chain during the opponent's turn if he wishes, right? So he can actually go into the big boy on top of this 5 cost during the opponent's turn because he's got 3 energy up. So there is that potential, right? Is that potential. So let's see what happens here, which means that Jason can't really establish anything if he does that. So he's just going to be able to clear it straight away. I can see a Borgos in hand, and then he's also got the 4-cost Goku that he can get out onto the board. So we're going to go for the super combo now. Now we're definitely at 4 life. He willingly took that 1 life, knowing that he get access to his super combos. Now, another reason, right, if Stubbs wanted to take that life, I think it would have been better to force him down to 3 in this deck. It's so much easier to kill from 3 energy, 3 life in this deck, right? So he's going to take the 25. Now, we've got a Unison. We've got a Wolfang Fist, so that's valuable. I don't think we have another Violent Ray, so it's very scary trying to survive the next turn. But having access to Wolfang Fist is at least a little bit of protection, minusing by 15, giving us that extra protection. But it's not going to, I guess, stop an attack, much like Violent Rays would kind of stop a whole turn in a way, right? So we do have access to a few cards in hand, but nothing really solid. And the other thing I said is if he establishes the card, swings with it, we can always hit that Jiren out, which is rather scary. So if you can do a big boy during the opponent's turn, yeah, it's kind of a blowout. So let's see what he gets up to here. Stubbs obviously having to think. Again, this is back when it first released, so it probably wasn't a solid list either. Like, probably changed quite a bit for Stubbs. He played it quite a few times. So it probably did change around quite a lot. So he's probably not too sure of what to go for and where to go from here. What's the best thing to do? And probably one of the first times also versing Jiren here as well. Which is fair enough too. So it does unfortunately take some time to make some good decisions, especially when you're facing down pretty much a dual attack double striker that also pluses leader. It's rather scary facing that down. So we are going to play the Unison now. I think it's definitely the right choice to play the Unison because we do establish our Wolfang Fist. So going for the plus, minusing marker just here. Unfortunately, not able to give it double strike off leader effect because I think it's on the swing, if I remember correctly, that it actually gives it the double strike. But we are just going to pass turn here instead, not giving Jimmy any more cards, right? So we are drawing a card. Restand. Now, we probably don't need to go much more energy. I think we're in a pretty good situation there. As I said, Corn Dog Jiren, we could go grab something if we need to, but he's got his fours set up. Usually what you want in your kill turn is to be able to pitch that yellow Jiren promo, right? And then be able to establish pretty much a super combo on the board. That's the ideal thing. But potentially not going to happen. So we're going to swing in 19. I believe this is going into Unison. Maybe. So we're going to go for potentially the Spirit Boost here. So giving it the 6k. So he gets the plus 6k. So he is at 21, which is rather frustrating when you're trying to clear this Unison. It's very frustrating indeed. But it is great protection for this this card specifically. But he does have Jiren that he can double strike if he needs to, right? And clear it out. So I think what he needs to do is probably just start swinging in face. Once again, as I said, I think Jimmy needs to always swing in with the big Jiren first in to bait out that violent raise, right? Because if you swing with something small, then you're losing out on that swing by getting it negated, and then also the big swing as well because you can't swing over it. But we are just going to swing, it looks like double strike in here. I think, if I remember correctly, you can just bring it back with the leader. I think, or it gains something. Some effect, I'm not 100%. So it looks like he gains the 5k effect. So he gains like a bean for the turn. So that's pretty good. I couldn't remember exactly what happens when the Unison actually gets cleared. But pretty nice for him. We're going to plus on our leader as well. Once again, as I said, we have access to Wolfang Fist. We are going to swing a big double strike in here into the leader. Now, more than likely, this is what I'm thinking. More than likely, we have another big guy to play out. So we can evolve and then start swinging in more double strikes here. So he is gone down minus 15, but we are just going to minus the leader and plus that 15 back up, right? And we're also minusing leader. So that's rather scary here for this battle. I would dare say that this double strike is going to go through just here. But let's see what Stubbs can pull out. I don't think he's going to commit to it. I think he's going to take 2. Hopefully a negate, no negate it looks like, sadly. And we're going to go for our evolve on top, plusing the leader another 5k as well, because we have gone for another evolve here. And then we're going to swing in, and then we're just going to combo another Freezer's Death Ball, right? So we're going to minus a 10 off the leader, making this a huge swing, drawing 2 with a super combo as well, getting real greedy. Why not though? I think you just go in hard on this swing. He does technically have another one though. So unless Stubbs can somehow pull this out and combo out of it, I will be shocked. So let's see. So we got another super combo, thankfully, off that rip just there. Placing Borgos on the bottom, drawing another 2. We got a difference of status, right? Which isn't too bad. We get a plus there, get another draw. So we're hitting the super combo, so not too bad. Not too bad. We do have Spirit, the difference of status, so we can get the minus as well. If we need to, so that's a potential. Maybe could put us in a good situation. So he is minus 10, so he's only a 10k leader, because I believe it's he gets plus 5k on the lead. So he's a 10k leader, so 20, 30, 41 right now. So he needs to combo still quite a bit more to actually get through it, which sucks. So I think that's enough there. But we do have a second swing here, right? That's the other thing. We have a second swing. So the leader should be plus 2, so 2 markers, right? Because I think you missed 1 for the evolve, but that's okay. You missed 1 for the evolve because it is twice per turn, and then he gets to plus it. So our leader technically would be in a very good situation right now. So we're going to go difference to status, minus it by 5, but that's okay. Once again, we're still swinging in with a massive double strike, throwing a super combo behind it. We're definitely not comboing out of that at all, unfortunately. So there we go, guys. Jiren, despite setting up really, really late, it felt like, because he had quite a few whiffs early on, which sucked. But he was able to establish these 2 big boys, which is absolutely ridiculous. They're so strong. And this is kind of probably why we're seeing it popping up randomly, right? People are getting a bit more of a hang of it. Unfortunately, you do have to have RNG on your side when you play in a big tournament, though. I feel like a lot of the time. When you start whiffing, it can be pretty detrimental. But the deck is really fun. If you have the cards, check it out, play it. As I said, this was back before it was like errated and everything. So this is like the initial list. It does change quite a bit as the course went on. But I thought I'd bring you guys this game because it has been sitting there for a while. I love Jiren, so why not play it out? And then started Vegeta, also a really cool deck. And this was in its early beginnings as well, so the deck changed a hell of a lot since then. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please remember to subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.